Good morning, everyone. Today, we're going to be talking about how the United Kingdom shut the door on African college graduates because there's no colleges in Africa that are in the top 50 schools that the United Kingdom will allow work visas in order for the biggest and brightest and the most intelligent of them all to come to the UK for high-paying jobs to increase the wealth and also the businesses and organizations that there are in the UK. So when we look at this thing, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the biggest things that will happen to Africa in a very positive manner. Now, a lot of people are not going to agree with me this morning because they don't understand the dichotomy and duality of this dynamic change that Africa absolutely needs, that the United Kingdom has shut the doors on work visas for the biggest and brightest of them all. This is very important because far too long, the West has been taking the biggest and brightest of all the Caribbean, all the African, intelligent, innovative, and inventors of the African continent. Why this is important to Black Americans? Not too much, but I will say this. The more intelligent innovators and inventors and business and lawyers and doctors and nurses that stay in Africa, it would automatically be for the better. The infrastructure will be better. Medical services will be better. Educational services will be better. Healthcare services will be better. Everything will be better when the most intelligent of you all stay in your own countries on your own continent. This is the problem, ladies and gentlemen, where African universities for far too long have allowed their biggest and brightest and most intelligent people to go out into the West and build our countries better than their own freaking continent. That's why when you go visit Ghana, there's a portion of Ghana that only the foreigners live in that looks like a first world country, where the rest of the damn country of Ghana looks like a third world country. And I'm not speaking down to my cousins from across the pond. This is the reality. So when you go through over the 50 states, the 50 countries that's on the continent of Africa, you will understand why the continent of Africa is still in the state that it is today. Because some of them will have you to believe that they will go to the West, get education, get jobs, one of the two, and then go back to the African continent. No. That's not how it is. What usually happens is they either get their education in Africa, come to America, go to the UK, go to Australia, go to Asia, and get these high-paying jobs and send pennies, sometimes hundreds, back to their countries. But nonetheless, they don't go back to their country. They say, oh, I'm going to work here for a couple of years. I'm going to save up my money, and then I'm going to go start businesses back in Africa. Well, how are you going to start business back in Africa where people do not have the money to buy from your business? You have to start your infrastructure. You have to start your country from the ground up. It's a foundation that you must build, and it starts with the most intelligent of you all. If all of you guys want to leave your countries because they're poor, they're stricken, they're destitute, they're poverty stricken as well, you're going to leave to the West and you're going to give them your best. You're going to leave to the West and give them your best. And this is why Great Britain has shut the door on Africa, and this is a good thing. Now, I know some of you guys are like, well, I don't believe this is a good thing because there's high-paying jobs in the West and they can feed their families. But when is this going to stop? You want to go right back to the colonizer who stole pretty much all your resources, colonized in almost the entire continent of Africa, and you want to go right back to your colonizers and make their countries better than the countries they stole from. Africa is the richest continent in the world by resources. Africa is the richest continent in the world by resources. Why do Africa have the poorest people? Why does Africa have the poorest people? That is what the people want to know. The richest continent in the world has the poorest people. This is because time and time again, colonized Africans has been leaving the continent in hundreds and thousands, and they have been conquered on all sectors of human. Let me calm down, family. Let me calm down. They have been conquered socially. They have been conquered economically. They have been conquered mentally. They have been conquered religiously. See, a lot of times people want to go back and forth that Christianity and this, that, and the other was starting in the continent of Africa where there was no remnants, no sign, no evidence, no nothing of Christianity before the Europeans came. What the Europeans did was take some African religions, mixed and mastered them in England, and then brought it back to the continent as Christianity, and then indoctrinated the entire freaking continent of Africa. And now majority of the continent are now Christians. If they can control your mind, which they have done by colonization, if they can control your spirit, what they've done by Christianity, they control your body. They have you so mind-stricken that now, even in your top universities, like the University of Cape Town of South Africa, not even on the list of getting into the UK as far as work visas are concerned. First and foremost, let's talk about this numerically. You're not on the top 50 list. So they're trying to pave this thing, family, as though this is some sort of racist discrimination. But as I looked into it, I said, I always believe that anything that the Europeans come up with in some form of fashion is going to be racist or discriminatory, because Cape Town, South Africa, their university is not even in the top 50. It's 109 according to the United States census that I have here. We're going to go through this. I need to calm down because I am tired of our brothers and sisters from across the pond leaving their countries, talking bad, ill-willed against Western Black people, Black Americans in general. And now that the UK has shut the door, they're making this a big story. Like this is nothing new, family. Let me just point that out. This is nothing new. This has been going on since around 2016 when Great Britain first came out with this particular with this particular list of the universities that they were allowed to have work visas. This is nothing new, but they will have you to believe that this is something new, but it's not. And we're going to go through, and I'm going to show you how all of a sudden here in 2022 they will have you to believe that this is something new and that you should be concerned about it. Just like they try to make you concerned about United Kingdom and Ukraine and Russia. No, these are all the things that you guys should not be concerned about. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, supposedly the whole world is in uproar because the United Kingdom will not allow African students apply for work visas because, quite frankly, the United Kingdom told them, hey, we only want from the top 50 universities. So with that being said, it says right here, family, it says Britain will offer work visas to graduates from the world's best universities in an expansion of its post-Brexit immigration system that is designed to attract the best and brightest workers. But no African universities are included in the list of institutions. Whoopee-doo. This is a great thing for Africa. This is a great thing for Rwanda. This is a great thing for Uganda. This is a great thing for Kenya and Ghana and South Africa and Gambia and Namibia and the Congo and Sudan. The list goes on and on and on, in Zimbabwe and Tanzania. This is a good thing. It says, under the scheme announced on Monday, graduates with a bachelor's or master's degree from the top 50 universities abroad can apply for a 2-year work visa and will be allowed to bring family members with them. Those who receive doctorates can apply for a 3-year visa. So when we look at this list, family, now this is according to the United States News rankings. Let me just show you here, give you some more context. Here we go. U.S. News World's Best Universities. And they have the University of Cape Town rankings. Now, the reason why I'm pointing out the University of Cape Town is because the University of Cape Town is one best global university in Africa, one best global universities in South Africa. Now, I still like to toy with this because South Africa is a destination, not a country. They're like, what city you live in? Or where you live? I live in South Africa. Isn't that Africa? So do you live in North Africa? I'm just playing with it. But anyway, as we look at this, but it states the number one key point here is that University of Cape Town is 109th in the Blessed Global University. Well, didn't the prime minister, this guy right here with the crazy hair that everybody likes to compare him to Donald Trump, didn't he just say that we want to take the top 50 universities? That's what he has said. That's what he has said. And it gets a little deeper here too, family, because here's a whole list. This is from the UK website. High potential individual visas. It says right here, this is from www.gov.uk. This is from the government's website. It says to be eligible for a HPI visa, you must have been awarded a qualification by an eligible university. Ladies, gentlemen, where's this study coming from? It's coming from the West. Why do African and Caribbean countries continue to seek validation from the West? You don't need validations from the West. You are your own entity. You're on your own continent. You have enough resources to sustain yourself for a millennia. But we continue to lean on and look to our colonizers. That's okay. But as we look at this list, as we go a little bit further here, as we look at this list, family, I just wanted to be very anecdotal when I'm going through these. So I just randomly picked one because I went through all of them. And let me tell you, all of them look similar to this one right here. So this is, again, we're on the UK website of the top colleges. It says here, this is from 2018, but as you can tell, it started from 2016 to 2022. And I went through all of the lists, okay? I'm not, and just for the sake of time, I'm not going to go through all of them, but I randomly picked one so you can see exactly what I'm talking about. It states here that the list published in 2018 will be used to assess qualifications awarded between 1 November 2018 and October 31st of 2019. And it talks about alphabetically rankings of the top colleges that will be considered for these HPI visas to work in the United Kingdom. And what you see here is Australia, predominantly white country, United States of America, predominantly white country, Switzerland, predominantly white country, USA, Germany, Hong Kong, Asian country. We see Japan, Asian country, all Canada, white country, Singapore, Asian country, China, Asian country, France, predominantly white country, USA. We see the trend here, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, I'm not going to repeat any of the names here. Most of these are either what? Predominantly white countries, or they're Asian countries. Now, just for you guys probably not aware of the breakdown of the University of Cape Town racial demographics. Now, let me just show you this, because for a lot of you people who may not be aware, there's a very, very large white population of the descendants of those colonizers and enslavers that predates apartheid in South Africa, okay? So there's a large white population there. So SA, this means South Africa. They mean South African Black. And of course, I try to dive deep to get any current numbers, but the most I can get is back to 2014. But the numbers are still relevant nonetheless. So we see here 25% of the enrollment of the students in the University of Cape Town is 25%. Now, colored just means that one of the parents are white, or one of the parents is non-black, but one of the other parents is black. They just mean that they're mixed. That's what colored in South Africa means, okay? That's 13%. South African Indian, around 7%. And then South African white, 30%. So is this a racial issue? Is this discrimination? Is this simply because that the University of Cape Town is not in the top 50? Because majority of the students, as I'm looking at the numbers here from University of Cape Town, are white. They're white. Majority of the students of the University of Cape Town, which is the #1 school in Africa, is white, and they still didn't let them in. And then I go right back to this list, and I'm looking at the number that this particular school falls in. They fall 109th in best global universities. Okay, so let's go over to CNN. It says UK criticized for excluding graduates from African universities in new work visa rule. Let me point this out one more time, family. South Africa, no universities, no colleges are a part of any of this list dating back to 2016. No African, no part of Africa, no part of the Caribbean, none of the colleges, none of the universities are a part of any of this list that started back in 2016. Let me make that very, very clear. So I wonder why this is a headline news story today. I don't know if they made it more public, but this has been going on for quite some time now. And all of a sudden in 2022, they're making it a big issue. I have no idea why. Is this discrimination? Is this racism? Is this racial bias? Or is it simply that your university is not part of the top 50? Now, let me also put a disclaimer in here, family. Who makes a top 50 list? Who makes the list that the United States News, this website here, for the World Report and other agencies that's similar to it, who makes the list? Europeans, white people. That's who make the list. Do they have a team of people that go down to these universities and they have some sort of test and survey and some sort of things that they actually do to test what the best universities have to offer? Probably not. Probably not. Why would they waste resources like that? I've been trying to find out, how do they go about compiling lists like this? Let me tell you what I came to the conclusion of, because I can give you a bunch of jargon that's really not going to make any sense at the end. It came down to, I'm white and I say so. We said these are the best universities. And well, God damn it, these are the best universities. That's what it boiled down to. But again, I would like to point out, family, this is a great thing for Africa. Now you can retain the best and brightest and most intelligent people on the continent. And you guys can go country by country and start to fix the infrastructure and improving your health care and improving your educational service and improving your social structures, your social media structures, your internet, your water filtration systems, your food droughts. All of those things can be fixed with the best and brightest of you all, instead of those guys tuck-tailing and running to United Kingdom, to Asia, and also to America. These are the problem that has been going on far too long in the African continent. Mass media has been showing Black people as a whole that we are all we got. And here in America, Black Americans, we understand we are all we got. Now, hopefully, our distant cousins from generations past, they understand what we have already understood for hundreds of years. At the end of the day, they will use you until they don't have to use you anymore, and they discard you like rubbish. They throw you out with the trash. And hopefully this is yet again another wake-up call to fix your own countries. See, I've heard about Ghana trying to once again do a year of return. And ladies and gentlemen, the year of return was 2019. My family and I just came back from Ghana here in February, March time frame. And the same welcoming and some of the facilities that we saw during 2019, they were no longer operating. And what that kind of told me is, one, maybe they don't have it in the budget. Maybe they don't have enough funds to keep these things concurrent. Or was that just a ploy to get tourist dollars in Ghana? Inflated their prices in 2019 when those people was going over there spending hundreds and thousands of dollars, feeling like they were back home on the continent, kissing the dirt and getting very emotional and somewhat spiritual to a certain degree. Was that all a sham? Was that all a mirage? Was that real? I'm just questioning. I'm not saying it was or it wasn't. But I can tell you this, family. Me and my wife went over there with, open eyes, open arms, but we didn't feel that connection. We didn't feel that connection. We are different people. We are different people. Now, you can go over there and you can have a different feeling. I'm just telling you mine. Okay? Maybe Ghana wasn't the country. So next year, guess where we're going to go? We're going to go to South Africa. We may even go to Rwanda. We want to check it all out. We want to see what everybody else been showing on all of these YouTube videos, how wonderful these places are, right? And we stay very, very neutral in what we see. Yeah, we saw some great things in Ghana. And I can tell you this, I will never go back on this. The people of Ghana are tremendous. They're absolutely wonderful people. Everyone was kind except for the salesman, but it don't matter where you go in the world. Salesmen are always pushy. They're always overbearing, but that's nonetheless, other than the salesman, the people are terrific. I can't say one ill will thing about the people of Ghana. They were very, very wonderful and nice people. Okay. But when I found out, when I was in Ghana, when I found out how the Ghanaian people do not own diddly squat of their own country, I almost lost it right there in the country. The hotel that we were staying in was Best Western. And I'm like, okay, that's a franchise. So what Ghanaian businessman owns this particular hotel? And we were talking to the workers. All the workers were Ghanaian, blacks. And they're like, no, there's a white guy who owns the hotel. Oh, okay. And as we started to travel downtown in the business district where the infrastructure was grade A, the living conditions were up to par to American standards or even better to a certain degree. The roads were all paved, street lights was on, food was excellent. I was like, well, who owns this and who owns that and who owns this and who owns that? None of these places were owned by Ghanaians. None of them. They were owned by the Chinese. They were owned by the Italians. They were owned by Indians. They were owned by Lebanese. None of them were owned by Ghanaians. This is the Africa that no one tells you about. See, what happens, family, is when those intelligent people, because we've been hearing a lot of great things out of the continent of Africa. I believe there was a Nigerian fellow who created the first solar powered car. Haven't heard from him from a while because I believe that Elon Musk reached out to him. So there's a lot of these inventions and innovators that they're in Africa with these very beautiful minds, very intelligent people, but they're leaving and they're coming to the West for dollar signs. They have no unction. They have no dream. They have no goal of making their countries better than what they are. The only thing you will get is I'm over here, I'm saving up my money, and I send money back home. I say, oh, well, when are you going back home? Do you have any admirations, any ambitions of going back home? Yeah. But I'm going to be over here. Well, how long are you going to be over here? Oh, I'm going to be over here 10, 15 years. So you're going to give your best years to the West. And as you go back to Africa, if you go back to Africa, because most of these people don't go back to Africa. I'm not saying all. Some of them do. I'm not saying all, family. So don't quote me wrong here. But a lot of them don't go back to Africa. And I'm like, did you know that you could be the first of your kind? And then what they say that prevents them from improving their countries, they tell us the government. They say the government. And I'm not saying that's not a real thing. Absolutely is a real thing. But what's going to happen? What's going to happen if a great number of you don't unify and organize to stop this so-called government? Because here's the thing, if you're not living in a dictatorship, these people can be voted out and you can bring in a new regime. So when I keep hearing the government, just like here in Black America, we're trying to educate Black Americans to stop voting for these same Democrats and Republicans that do nothing for us. We're dealing with the same problem. I'm not saying we're any better than you. I'm not saying we're any less than you. But as we are being educated, our minds are being reformulated to a certain degree, to the point where we don't see any tangibles. We don't see any results. Then guess what? Stop voting for people just because they hand you out trinkets, just because they hand you out a couple of dollars here and there. You have to look at the long term. And here in America, they don't even hand us out anything. They just talk nice to you. Oh, well, you know, it's so good to get that Donald Trump out of office. Okay, now what? Well, we got Donald Trump out of office. What has changed for Black Americans? Now, a lot of Black Americans, they stated that, hey, I was actually doing better under Donald Trump. And see, me, family, I'm just going to keep it real with you. I didn't vote for neither one of the two suspected white supremacists. No, I did not. You know why? Because nothing has changed for us as a whole. Because there is a debt that America still owes to Black Americans. So this is a good thing. I'm glad the UK shut the door on those African college graduate students so they can take their skills, their talents, their education, and invest right back in their country. Africa is the richest continent in the world. They just need their own people to invest in it. Let's see here. We have DL. They're conquered by religion. DL says here that Black people the world over are conquered by religion. This is the common difference between Blacks and everyone else. They say they will let the white students in from Africa. This is the no-brainer. That's a strong possibility. I will not deny that. That's a strong possibility. But I just want to kind of give you an update on that story, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't want to take too much of your time this morning. But this story kind of just got me elevated to a point where I wanted to depict it in a different manner because the mass white media would like to show it as the UK being discriminatory against Africa. No. If they say they want the top 50 schools in the world, but the rankings show that you are 109th in best global university, then is it racial or is it by the numbers? Or you might just want to ask yourself, who made the list in the first place? And that's where your answer lies. So congratulations, Africa. Congratulations, University of Cape Town and other wonderful universities and colleges in Africa that educate the continent of the best and brightest stars and the future innovators and inventors of the world. Congratulations. Now you can be better than you ever was before.